I'm going to tell you how good Ale and Tale Tavern actually is. I recently played the prologue of this game and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. So let's get into my experience of this game. So the first thing you do is you create a character, and then once you've done that you get into the game and you're there with a merchant who would speak to you and tell you about stuff about what you have to do. It is a little bit annoying that you can't skip the dialogue and you have to listen to it all because it's not like a dialogue box or anything, he's just talking to you. But once you get through that, you go into your tavern, you're able to destroy the planks on the door and you're able to clean up the place in order to get it ready to start building inside. Now the systems in this game and the way it works are very in-depth. It's not a simple just serve people sort of thing. It's the kind of game that means that you have to go through different steps in order to make the things that you want to serve. And this is what makes it really good. So once you start building up your tavern, you put in tables and chairs so that people can come in and sit down and get served. You will put a keg stand down that you can put kegs on. You will get a brewing pot so you can actually brew things, and then you'll get a fermenter so you can ferment stuff into alcohol that you can sell. You'll also get a kitchen area where you're able to boil and fry things essentially. You will start off the game by having to buy the barley from the merchant, but later on you have the ability to grow this yourself. So you go out to the well at the back and you put water in your bucket, and you put the barley and the water into the brewer in order to create barley wort. Once you've created that, you put that into the fermenter and you wait for it to ferment. And then once you've done that, you can get the barrel, put the stuff into it and then put it onto the stand, and it's ready to be served. You'll also have to buy plates and mugs, and you also have the opportunity, if you want to buy plate stands and mug stands like shelves that you can put on the wall, and you can stack up your mugs and your plates. Or you can just carry them in your inventory if you want to, which can be a little bit easier. But if you're playing it multiplayer, it's something you're going to want to make sure there's a stand there so other people have access to that stuff and not have to keep buying the things so that they can serve people. Once you've done that, you can then start boiling things and essentially creating stuff in the pot so you can serve food. And you have these little spots on the main counter where you can put the food and the mugs of beer that you make essentially so that people can buy it. But they will come in and they will sit down at the table, you'll go over to them and you'll have to serve them. Once you select them or press the button on them, they will then tell you what they want, you serve it to them, they'll have that stuff and then they'll leave and you'll have to grab the mug or the plates and go and wash it in the kitchen. There is a small washing mini game for everything that you have to wash, and you do have to refill this sink area with water from the well using your bucket. Pretty much everything that you make needs water, so you'll be going to the well quite often. It might be a good idea to get a second bucket if you can, in order to actually not have to keep going out to the well all the time. So once you start serving people, you start making money and you can start buying new things and new furniture for your place. You can buy new tables and chairs. You can also change the style and the design of things as well if you want to. And of course you'll have to go around with your brush in order to clean up the floor every now and again when it does get dirty. But you will have a steady stream of customers coming in one at a time sometimes, unless you take too long to serve someone. If you're making the food, for example, then you may have a backlog of a few people sat in there. Generally speaking, I found that I only really had one person at a time most of the time. Everything that you do when it comes to cleaning or cooking or serving people or even washing up gives you experience. This experience essentially helps you level up your tavern, which unlocks new things for your tavern, as well as at certain levels unlock certain doors so that you can have extra rooms. There was one little Easter egg that I did see down the side of the tavern on the right hand side where it actually says arrow in the knee, and it's like the sign of what it used to be. Obviously this is a very nice callback to Skyrim. So as you progress through the story, you'll also notice that the voiceovers from the characters are actually really well done. This is something I have to give props to the developer on. They've got really good people to do the voiceovers and it is actually pretty convincing. It's not something you normally see in a small game like this, but it's actually nice to actually hear decent voiceovers. So once you complete your first mission, the quest, and you do that, then you will have access to an area out back, which is a garden area. Once you clean up this area, you will then be able to start planting things there and growing your own things. This can be things that you will use to make food, or it can be the barley itself so you don't have to buy it from the merchant. You also have the ability to go out and hunt, and you can hunt wild boar and things like that in order to make other types of food. You do have a menu in your bar that you can then just essentially add new things to it as you get the ingredients to make new foods. And you obviously have to just then keep making sure that you've got that stuff, and this is where multiplayer comes in really well, because as you're running the bar area in the tavern, you could have other people potentially farming crops, washing up dishes, or going out hunting in order to get the things that you need. If you're playing it single player, you may have to close your tavern down temporarily to go and get the materials or the things that you need to make the stuff to sell. So once I played through and got through the whole prologue section, it kind of just says you have to wait for the full game to be able to actually do more stuff. Once I completed the prologue and I went through that, I decided to jump into multiplayer with a complete stranger and play with them. And this is where it got kind of fun. Even though we didn't actually communicate, we kind of knew what the other person was doing. The other person was going out and creating stuff, cooking food, growing crops and stuff like that. I was generally running the tavern area and serving people as well as washing dishes. And once the other person noticed that that's what I was doing, they started to go outside and left the tavern for me to run. Obviously this is the perfect game to play with friends in co-op, because this would be amazing to play with like 3 other people. Obviously you can then assign roles to each person and make sure that you're running it as best as you can. I can honestly say this is one of the best like tavern style games that I've played. I think the best part of this is that towards the end of it you do have like a little horde thing that can be a giant spider come in and start attacking you, or skeleton zombie things attacking you. There was one point where I was serving customers and people just ran out and I wondered why. Then I looked to my left and I saw a skeleton zombie thing, so I ran outside and jumped up and down like a nutcase to tell my teammate that there was something wrong. Luckily he noticed, he had an axe and he started to attack them. You're able to get materials from them in order to make other things as well, but it kind of makes it so that every time that they come in and start attacking your tavern, everyone runs away, so that can give you a bit of time to restock everything you need. But you do have to be on your full alert when it comes down to getting to nighttime, because this is when these creatures can come out and attack you. There are also spiders that can come and attack you as well. There was this moment where my teammate was essentially getting attacked by a spider. I decided to go and grab an axe and go back inside, and by the time I did that, the spider was gone. It was kind of weird, and I carried on trying to start running the tavern, and then suddenly that spider came back in again and scared the crap out of me. I would expect there to be a lot more in the full game, and I can't wait to give a full review of that game when it releases, which by the way is the 3rd quarter of this year, so it shouldn't be too long before it comes out. And it is definitely something I'm looking forward to. It's really fun, it's really in-depth, and it's just a really good game to play. Speaking of really good games to play, I'm going to suggest 2 videos that are must-watches at the end of this video, so stick around for that. But first I have to say I am on the road to 10,000 subscribers. It's a very slow road. If you like my content and you're watching this, or you've watched my videos before, please hit that subscribe button, get down there, like it, and get down in the comments and give me your opinion on whether you think this is a game that you're going to play, or if you're already playing it. And now for those suggestions. If you enjoy driving games and simulation style games, then check out Taxi Life, a city driving simulator up here. This is a really good game. Or if you want another survival game, then check out Night of the Dead, which is a zombie survival game that has base building in it, and it's actually really fun. Other than that, I want to say thank you for watching my video. I've been Lycan from Green Lycan Reviews, and I will see you in the next one.